The Golden State Warriors have been one of the most fascinating teams to follow this season, not because they're dominating the league, but because they've been fighting through inconsistency, chemistry concerns, and puzzling on-court collapses. And as analysts dig deeper into what's gone wrong, one name keeps resurfacing at the center of the conversation: Draymond Green. For years, Draymond has been considered the emotional engine and defensive heartbeat of the Warriors dynasty. But now, a wave of advanced metrics and eye-opening statistical trends are painting a much more complicated picture, one that suggests his presence may actually be hurting the team more than helping. For most of his career, Draymond has defied traditional box score judgment. His value wasn't measured in points or raw stats, but in defense, communication, screen setting, and playmaking that didn't always show up on paper. He was the ultimate impact player. But as more data becomes available, analysts have started to notice a troubling shift in his statistical footprint, particularly when it comes to how the Warriors perform when he is on the court versus when he is off it. Those numbers are now becoming harder to ignore. One of the most revealing indicators is the team's net rating splits. In past championship seasons, Golden State's efficiency spiked with Draymond in the lineup. The defense sharpened, the ball moved better, and the Warriors played with a distinct identity. This year, however, several metrics show the opposite trend. The Warriors' defense has slipped significantly when Draymond is on the floor, and opponents are scoring at a noticeably higher rate. That's an alarming shift for someone who has built his legacy around elite defensive impact. The offensive metrics aren't much kinder. While Draymond's playmaking has historically been one of Golden State's strengths, analytics now indicate that spacing collapses when he's on the court. Defenders sag off him, clogging driving lanes and shrinking the floor for shooters. Lineup data shows that the Warriors' three-point efficiency drops when Draymond shares the floor with multiple non-shooters, and in several key games this season, opponents have dared him to score, effectively neutralizing the Warriors' motion system. Another revealing statistic comes from foul and turnover trends. Draymond has always played on the edge emotionally, but this season, the numbers show that his technical fouls, ejections, and suspension-related absences have directly contributed to lineup instability. The Warriors' rotations have been disrupted repeatedly, forcing young players into roles they weren't prepared for and breaking continuity during crucial stretches of the season. Teams thrive on rhythm, and constant availability matters more than ever. Perhaps the most concerning metric, though, is how younger Warriors players perform alongside Draymond. Lineup pairings show that several of Golden State's developing talents, players the franchise is counting on for its future, post significantly worse efficiency ratings when sharing the floor with him. Whether that's because of fit, communication style, or system conflicts, the data suggests that the development curve of the roster may actually be clashing with Draymond's style of play. And while analytics are telling part of the story, the eye test has started to match the numbers. There are defensive possessions where Draymond's rotations look a step slower. Moments where transition coverage breaks down. Sequences where frustration spills over instead of composure. For a player once known for anticipating plays before they happen, the decline in consistency has been noticeable, and the data simply confirms it. That doesn't erase what Draymond has meant to the Warriors franchise. He has been a four-time champion, an elite defensive mind, and a central pillar of the dynasty. But the NBA is unforgiving when age, mileage, and availability issues begin to stack up. Teams evolve. Opponents adapt. And the version of Draymond that terrorized offenses for years may not be the same one the Warriors are putting on the floor today. This growing body of data has also sparked a much bigger conversation about Golden State's future. At what point does loyalty give way to realism? Can the Warriors continue to build around a core that no longer produces the same level of on-court value? Front office decision-making becomes harder when legacy, leadership, and nostalgia intersect with declining performance metrics. There's also an emotional layer to all of this. Draymond has always prided himself on being the ultimate competitor, the vocal leader, the gritty defender, the tone setter. Hearing his name tied to the team's struggles isn't just about statistics, it challenges his identity as the heartbeat of the franchise. Some analysts believe he can still thrive in a more limited, specialized role. Others question whether his personality and playing style fit a roster that is shifting toward youth, pace, and versatility. From the fan perspective, the divide is clear. Some supporters continue to defend Draymond's intangible value, his leadership, his communication, his basketball IQ. They argue that numbers can't measure trust, chemistry, and experience. Others feel the numbers simply confirm what they're already seeing, that the Warriors look slower, smaller, and less disciplined with him anchoring the lineup. Ultimately, the data doesn't say Draymond Green has no value. Instead, it suggests that his role may no longer align with the demands of the modern Warriors roster. What once made him indispensable may now be limiting lineup flexibility and offensive flow. The biggest challenge for Golden State now is figuring out whether they can adapt his responsibilities, restructure their core, or make painful long-term decisions. Because if the eye-opening stats continue trending in the same direction, the conversation may shift from "is Draymond struggling?" to "can the Warriors afford to keep building around him?"